How different is doing research in India with respect to United States?
Oh, India is a very big country. India has many, many more people than the United States does. So there are, like if you say that the top of very good research, top of a pyramid of India, research pyramid, in geology or whatever, has a large base. The large base is not always that good. The base in the United States is also not that good, but very rich. People there do not have that much of money. They do not have access to even microprobe, which is everywhere in the United States. Very simple. So one of the things that they lack is access to instruments and maintenance of instruments. That's not easy in India. It's a very different kind of a country. Even Italy, you cannot imagine that.
What about, you were talking about the pyramid, which is the difference in the top of the pyramid from United States and India?
Well, thinking-wise, new thinking-wise, it's not that different. But the number of people who are at this level are much fewer in India than in the United States, or for that matter in Western Europe.
So even if you have more people, the few that can reach the top through an education, they are fewer in absolute numbers than in the United States.
You recall some time ago in Europe, because you are from Italy, that's why I say this. Let's say 50 years ago in Europe. If you are a researcher, and if there was a professor, the number of professors there in those universities would be just one or two in those days. And everybody else would not be a professor. But you have to listen to the professor. The professor would be what we call guru. You might have heard that word. So if the professor says this is the way it is, you cannot oppose the professor, and always him at that time. You couldn't oppose the professor very much. It was worst in USSR. Remember, they did not pick up on plate tectonics at all, because Belousov said, no, there is no lateral movement. It's all vertical movement. And until Belousov died, retired and died, the Russians did not pick up on plate tectonics. Same kind of a thing. The mindset was same kind of a thing. If the guru says it's this way, you have to say it's this way.
Is it still true now in India with all of the internet and global connections that we have and people traveling around?
No, but not as much free as it is in the United States or in Western Europe, the little that I know. It's not that free, but still it is very much like if the professor says, I cannot oppose him. Question authority is not the norm. It's not the normal thing in India. One of my friends, he has now passed away, Dr. Chaudhary from Indian Statistical Institute. He just passed away a few months ago. He was one of those very few who started in the Proterozoics and said, we need new mapping. Very few people are doing that. The word facies mapping comes up, and you'll see this in literature all the time in India. But those are only words. The maps that they produce, they rely on, they're still stacked. So that's a big difference. That is, India has to get out, Indian sedimentary geology at least, has to get out of the old British model. And they were not wrong. That was the thing that they did in the 20th century, or late 19th century. That was the thing. They correlated with fossils. Okay? We say, okay, fossils are okay, but we need to know if they're index fossils with respect to specific absolute ages.
How did you move from NASA to Bloomington, where you are now in Indiana University?
Where did I move from?
Yes.
I did my PhD here.
In Bloomington?
In Bloomington. Then I left. I postdoced at Harvard. on moon rocks. Then I went back to India. I was a total misfit. In 1975-76, I was working for the Geological Survey of India. I had a job, good job. But there, the hierarchical structure was even more rigid. If the boss says this is how it is, you have to say, yes, sir. I was a total misfit. So I resigned. I had no job. But luckily I was able to come back to NASA and then to Bloomington for a short while. Then I again went back to India. No job. So then I came back to Bloomington. But, thinking differently or protesting authority was, at that time I didn't think it was difficult. At that time it came to me naturally. And probably even now it will come to me naturally. But that's what got me back here.